Welcome back. In the last video, we covered how to decide the right value of k. Now, once we have the value of k, how can we decide which points are the nearest? So, to determine the nearest points, we calculate the distances between points. And in this video, we'll cover the following 4 distances. Let's start with the Manhattan distance. The Manhattan distance is the sum of absolute differences between 2 points across all dimensions. Sounds complicated? Let's break it down. For now, we'll consider just one dimension. Now we have 2 points in this dimension, A and B, which has coordinates P and Q. Now how do you think we can calculate the distance between A and B? Quite simple, right? We can see the value of P to be 3, we have the value of Q to be 8, and we'll simply calculate the absolute difference, 3 minus 8, which comes out to be 5. Let's try another example. Here we have 2 dimensions, and we have the coordinates of A as P1, P2 and coordinates of B as Q1, Q2. How do you think we can calculate the distance between A and B in this case? Look at the definition more carefully. We can see that it is the sum of absolute differences between 2 points across all dimensions. So we'll take one dimension at a time. We'll first calculate the difference between A and B in this dimension and then in this dimension. So here we have the difference between A and B in this dimension to be Q2 minus P2, and we have in this dimension would be P1 minus Q1. And again we take the absolute differences. So if I plug in the values here, I'll have it 9 minus 5, and in this case I'll have 8 minus 5, and again the absolute value for both of these. So we have 3 plus 4 and the distance comes out to be 7, right? And similarly, if I take it to n dimensions, we'll calculate the sum of absolute differences between the points in all dimensions. So we'll take it to Pn to Qn, where n is the number of dimensions. Now I can write the same formula in this way, where we have the absolute difference between the coordinates P and Q, and we have I going from 1 to n, where n is the number of dimensions and Pi and Qi are the data points. But the Manhattan distance is not the shortest distance between 2 points. So we have another technique called the Euclidean distance, which calculates the shortest distance between the 2 points. Now recall this example from Manhattan. We calculated the distance in this way and we found out to be 7. Now what do you think will be the shortest distance in this case? It will be something like this line, right? So this will be the shortest distance. So can you guess the formula to calculate the distance between A and B? Remember the Pythagoras theorem? We had the value of D is equals to the root of A square and B square. So I've written the formula here. And if I plug in the values of A and B in terms of P and Q, I'll get it as P1 minus Q1 square plus P2 minus Q2 square and the complete root. So let's put in the values. We'll again get this as 4 square and 3 square, and we take a root of this. So it comes out to be 5. Now instead of 2 dimensions, if I calculate this for 3 dimensions, we'll have this as P1 minus Q1 square plus P2 minus Q2 square plus P3 minus Q3 square and the root of the summation. Now if I generalize this for n dimensions, we'll have the formula something like this, and we can write this again in a more simple form. So we'll use summation of Pi minus Qi square and the root of the summation. Here again we have the value n, which is the number of dimensions, and Pi, Qi will be our data points. So we covered 2 techniques to calculate the distances, the Manhattan distance and the Euclidean distance. And here are the formulas for both of these. Now the same can be written in this form, where we have the value of k is equals to 1 for Manhattan distance and the value of k is equals to 2 for Euclidean distance. Now this is called the Minkowski distance, and here is the formula for the same. So all the techniques we covered right now are to calculate the distances between continuous variables. Now we have another technique called the Hamming distance, which is used to calculate the distance when we have categorical variables. So let's understand how this works. Hamming distance is basically the total number of differences between 2 strings of identical length. Now by identical length, we mean the number of variables in both the points should be the same. Let's look at a few examples. So for now we have one variable gender and we have 3 rows A, B and C. So I've converted the variable gender male and female into strings 0 and 1. Now in this case, 0 and 1 do not have an order. So 1 is not greater than 0 and 0 is not less than 1. Now if I calculate the distance, I would see the number of differences between two strings. So simply we have 0 here and we have 1 for the ID B. So you have to check it in this way, that in this case, did the value change or is there a difference? Yes. So I would say that the distance between A and B is 1. And the distance between B and C is again 1 because one value has changed. And the distance between A and C will be 0 because there is no change in the value. You'll understand this better if we take multiple variables. So let's see another example. In this case, we have 3 variables: gender, marital status, and employment status. Now again, I'll convert these variables into numbers. So we have 0 and 1 for gender, male and female. Again, we have 0 and 1 for married and unmarried. And we have 1, 2, 3 for employment status. As I mentioned previously, these numbers do not have an order. We only look at if the values have changed or if there is a difference. So if I look at it in this case, we can say that the string for A is 001 and string for B is 102, and similarly for C it's 013. Now in this case, when we compare A and B, how many values in this string changed? So the 0 changed, yes. This value, no. And this value again, yes. So the distance between A and B will be 2. Now if I compare A and C, suppose, we have the first value 0 in both cases, so I say that this does not change. And this second value changed, yes. And then we have the third value that changed from 1 to 3. So again, we have the distance for A and C to be 2. Note that we did not take the difference here. So change of 1 to 2 was also considered as a change 1, and from 1 to 3 was again considered as a change 1. So these values don't really matter. So I hope you understood how the Hamming distance works. Now go ahead and calculate the Hamming distance between the points B and point C. So in this video, we covered the following 4 techniques to calculate the distances between variables. Thank you.